Today we're going to learn how to create an APA style table. The objectives of this lesson are to discover how to format data in SPSS into an APA style table that can be copied and pasted into a Word document. Also to understand how to format data that we've typed into a Word document into APA format. First, we're going to format an SPSS table that is in SPSS into an APA formatted table that we can copy and paste into a Word document. Using the HSB data set, a correlation test was run to determine if there was a correlation between father's education and math grades. SPSS provided me with the following output. This output is in a table form but is not acceptable for APA format. We're going to go into SPSS so that I can show you how to change the format of the table into APA. The first thing that you're going to do is double click on the table that you would like to change. I know that my table is activated because of this black line. When I click off of it, it's no longer activated. I'm going to double click to make sure it's activated. I'm going to choose from the menu bar up here. I'm going to choose Format. Under Format, I'm going to go to Table Looks. This is going to change the way my table looks, just as it says. There are all different ways to make your table look. Just as it says, I can click on it and make it blue and yellow or cobalt. But for this lesson, we would like to change our table into an APA format. So I'm going to choose the APA Times New Roman 12 point. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to choose OK. Now when I look at my table, it looks like an APA appropriate table. Now to move this into my Word document, I'm simply going to click on it, right click, then copy. I'm going to pull up the Word document that I want to put my table in. I'm going to click where I'd like to put it. First, I'm going to put table. I'm going to number this table. This is the first table that I'm using. You'll notice that this is bold. That is the correct APA format to label your table number in bold. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and paste my table into my Word document. You'll notice that the font is a little bigger and sometimes it doesn't transfer from SPSS into Word exactly like it should in formatting. So I'm going to click on this clipboard down here and choose Match Destination Formatting. And it will make everything in my table match what is already in my document. So for APA correct formatting, again, your table number should be bold. The title of your table should be in italics. The rest of my table, for the variables, they should be left aligned. The book tells us we can format the data in a way that we would like to see it. It looks in the book to be centered, and so I want to copy what the book says. It doesn't specifically state that, but however, I would like for mine to look just like the APA book. And so I have centered my data, left aligned my variables, and centered the data. Also, APA format would like for this table to have double spacing. So in order to do that, I'm going to highlight my table. I'm going to right click, choose paragraph, and the line spacing, just like we change line spacing in a Word document when we're typing in paper, we're going to double space this table. So now my table has italics for the title, everything is double spaced, everything is quite aligned. One more thing that I need to do is that each heading should begin with a capital letter, just the first word. So change the F in Father's Education and the M in Math grades. Let's do this one more time just for review. So let's go back to our SPSS data. I'm going to double click on the table that I would like to change. I'm going to choose Format, Table Looks, choose APA times Roman 12 point, and OK. So now my table is ready to be copied into Microsoft Word. So I'm going to right click and copy. I'm going to go to my Word document. I'm going to put my table number, which is 2, make it bold, center down 1, and paste my table here. Once again, the formatting is a little off, so I'm going to go down to my clipboard and match destination formatting. The only thing I have left to do is to double space it. Everything else came just like it was supposed to. I'm going to center these and then double space the whole thing. And now my table is in correct APA format. So now we're going to go back to the PowerPoint. Formatting the SPSS table and SPSS into APA format, I have listed the steps for you so that you may write them down for the next time that you are in SPSS. If you do not have the APA times Roman 12 point file in your table looks, the video listed below will tell you how to put that file into your software. Moving on to formatting SPSS data in a Microsoft Word document into APA format. Many SPSS outputs provide information that's just not necessary for us to report in findings. For instance, when I put in the question, do male and female students differ in regard to their average math achievement scores, grades in high school, and visualization test scores, I got a data set that looks like this. And it has a lot of data that I don't have to report. This confidence interval, I'm not having to report every piece of this data. So I used my SPSS book to determine which data sets that are important for me to report, and I have already placed them into a Word document to save time. So I have the data that's important to report for this type of comparison put into a table. I simply went to Table, created a new table, and counted out how many rows and columns I needed, and then input my data. So the first thing that we need to do to make this table APA format is to take the table number. We're going to make it bold. We're going to highlight the title because we would like for it to be in italics. We're also going to take this first row here, these letters that tell us our p-values and standard deviation and mean and so on, we're going to put those in italics as well. You'll notice that my variables are already left aligned. The tables automatically do that, so I'm just going to leave those that way. Once again, APA states however you format your first table to continue formatting that way, so I'm going to take my data reporting and I'm also going to center it because that's what I've done on my other two. Lastly, I'm going to take away all of these lines. You'll notice on our other tables we have lines at the top of our variables, line at the bottom of our variables, and a line at the very bottom of our chart. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to click on this navigation tool that pops up next to my table, and it highlights my whole table. So then I'm going to go to the tab here that says Tables. I'm going to slide all the way over to Borders, and I'm going to take all of those borders away. To get my top and bottom line across my variables, I'm just going to highlight the top row. I'm going to go back to Borders, choose top line, go back in and choose the bottom line. Then I'll go to the bottom of my table and highlight that row and choose a bottom line. So here is my table. Now the last thing that I need to do is double space this table. So I'm going to go to paragraph, line spacing, double space, and OK. So here's my table in correct APA format. You can see that it's nice and clean. Everything has lines that match. Underneath here is where you can put your notes, things that are not included in your data. Make sure that whenever you do include those, that they are included in italics as well. Things to remember about formatting your tables are to be consistent in the formatting and the vocabulary of your tables. Double space your table. Make sure the table title is brief but explanatory. Italicize the table title, but do not italicize the table number. You put that in bold. Capitalize only the first letter of the first word of all headings. Notes are placed below the table in italics. These are the resources that I use for this presentation. I use the APA manual, the 2001 publication, and also the 2009 publication. I also used our textbook, IBM SPSS for Introductory Statistics, Use and Interpretation, to get the questions and the data sets in order to format the tables into APA format.